Hi there, it's Trifle again. I do realize it's a long time since I did any updates or blogs. I've been going through some personal issues that's affecting my free time to do anything. I am, as you can see, posting the video live, so you'll be able to watch this. Oops, what did I do wrong? You should be able to watch this as soon as as I'm recording. YouTube video ID, which is what I did. Oh, there's a space, that's why. Okay. So now you should be able to watch the live session on Red Hot Porn as I'm recording. I got my battle chest playing. Let's turn down the volume just a little bit. Okay. Music video should be off. Okay, there we go. That's slightly better. Okay, so like I said, it's been a long time since I did any kind of blog or video blog. I do have my Red Hot Porn games on to the right of the screen. I'll go through them a little bit later. Let me adjust this screen to the full size, just so you can have my attention. I'm not going to do much. This is just a kind of a dry run test to see how a live performance will work for you guys. I'm going to go through some basic stuff, which I probably already went through before my other posts. But this is hopefully something that people that are trying to get better in their chess game is something that they'll be able to improve on and, hopefully get better. Okay, so again, I have my game going up. Okay, so let's recap over everything that I did before. Now, when you come down to sit down at the table to play chess, you should already have a plan of what you want to do, an opening. The first 20 so moves should be automatic, without anything, without any hesitation. Like, I know what I want to do. Okay, apparently it's black's move. Okay, let's see why this is not working. But anyway, the first thing that you want to do is have a plan. You need to know what you're going to do for the first 20 moves, so you don't have to think. The reason why is because chess is a mental game where you're going to be exhausted, tired by the end of the game. And if you're not, you didn't do your job. It's a simple matter of that. After sitting down at a 3-hour tournament league match, I was more tired mentally than I was all week during school. And I was doing French and all the other stuff like that. You've got to be able to look ahead. You've got to look to see of all what your opponent is trying to do against you. Okay, it looks like I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty here with this game. There you go. One of the bad things about doing live performances is technical difficulties such as this. So let's try again, shall we? So, like, you've got to know an opening off by heart. It's good to know more than one opening, but if you, for a while, you just want to focus on one. If you know how to play an opening, you got to know how to beat your own opening too. Okay, because my favorite opening used to be the Birds, and I like doing the Sicilian, and to be honest, I like playing as black. The reason why I like playing as black is because black has an easier time playing. You get to respond to white's game instead of having to make up everything yourself. Like, it's up to you what you play. It's up to you what type of game you want to play. Defensive, aggressive, or not. Okay. Okay, so it looks like I'm having a little bit of technical trouble with this battle chess. Well, dear oh dear. So, example, if we'll just use this for now. If you come across the king's opening, what do you plan to do? And you've got to be able to move without hesitation. You can do e5. You can do the Indian knight to c6, sorry, or knight to f6. Like, there's tons of ways that you can respond. Uh, Whichever way you choose to respond, that's the way you gotta think. So as soon as the opponent moves, it's boom, 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 boom. Because for the first 20 moves, it shouldn't matter what happens. Okay. Okay, apparently. The battle chess is kind of glitchy all of a sudden. I'm sorry for all the trouble. This was one of the hesitations of me doing a live performance, especially since I haven't done a blog entry update in a long time. So I'll try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'll go straight to red hot pawn. So the whole point of knowing an opening is to give yourself an advantage for when you get into the middle game, so you're mentally prepared and fresh to combat whatever your opponent has to do instead of the other way around. Okay, so we'll just stick with this. So if white moves the pawn up, what do you do? For me, it's instantly e5. So if white normally plays as this, attacks a pawn, not a bad move. Knight to protect. You could also do the pawn. You could do all sorts of stuff. You could let the pawn hang, which normally most people don't do. But that's okay. Whatever you want to do as an opening is fine. This is starting to look like a Sicilian. Black decides to reinforce this pawn. So you got 2 pieces protecting, 1 attacking. Not so bad, huh? Okay, so white carries on developing. He says, okay, I got 3 pieces out. So black thinks, I've got to catch up on, I've got to stay ahead. So his opening is to pin the knight, which is not always a good thing to do early on. The reason why that's a not so good idea, you gotta realize that, okay, yes, you're pinning the knight against the queen. The knight can't move without losing a more valued piece, but that also means your bishop is tied down. That bishop can't move. So effectively, you're losing a piece as well as your opponent. Um, Normally, you might be tempted to play this to push the bishop away, but you're weakening your own kingside defense. If someone plays this against you, ignore it. I mean, what's the big deal? The bishop is going to stay there. If he takes the knight, queen takes bite, fine. Well, you're going to exchange with a threat of mate on f7. So, if this is a gamble, you've probably seen the mate already. Bishop takes. Oops, I forgot. Bishop takes f7. Check. Okay, yes, we know. I need to skip ahead. Oh no, hold on. I made a mistake. I went 1 move too far. So, the bishop comes out here to move the knight. In response, in this particular opening, knight takes pawn. Now, many of you will be excited without thinking, go ahead and take the queen. Free piece, right? Now, as I've already spoiled the ending, bishop takes pawn, king comes up. And as you can probably guess, let's see if it works now. Knight in the middle, checkmate. The knight in the middle protects the bishop and the other square that the king can go to. This other knight comes out and attacks the king. And it all comes down to knowing the opening. Because without even thinking about it, so let's go back. So if you came across the opening, would you, as black, recognize the danger? And would you know what to do to stop it? So white goes ahead and takes the pawn. It's called a gambit. It's a risk. He's taking a pawn with a knight, leaving the queen open. As you see, it's a queen sacrifice checkmate. Now, if you're responsible, or if you keep collected, you can just take back the knight, which is what you should do, because if you don't, you lose the bishop, because the queen will take the bishop. The other thing that you can do forgotten how you do it. There we go. Now, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do as black. You can put the bishop back to here, or probably the best thing to do is go all the way back, because if you go there, knight takes, queen can come out. That's not so bad. Basically, white gets the advantage and forces black to go backwards, and white's not really a pawn up. Okay, he has a pawn up, but he has no advantage over that one pawn that he's taken. So if you are able to play an opening automatically, you don't have to use any of the gas inside of your brain to play the middle game. So you have got a lot more strength and stamina to carry on into a middle game. The reason why that's... Okay, so we'll come back to a red hot pawn now. Let me just show you. The reason why that's best is because if you're in a game, a 30 move game like this, you've got to be able to think and see what happens. You've got to be able to see the moves. You got to look ahead. This is a game that I lost, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure you can see why. Take a guess. I'll take a look. You can see the black's last move was walk across to support the queen. Well, what's black's threatening? Pawn down here. Now, is there any way that white could have stopped the mate from happening? Well, white could have gone pawn up too. Sure, that would have stopped the mate for a move. You could have taken back en passant. Is there any kind of counter threat that white has? Not really. I could take the... I was thinking about taking the pawn and stuff like that, but that's not going to work. So, with... Like, if you're sitting at the table under time pressure, you need all of the muscle memory to be able to play and think and see through patterns. You got to be able to see combination of moves 12 moves ahead, and you're going to be tired and exhausted if you're already having to think about the opening. If you have to sit and think for every move for the 20 moves all the way until the end game, the opponent is going to outlast you, and it's going to be an easy win for him, because, or her, sorry. By the time you get to the end game, he's still going to be fresh memory, and you're not going to have any trouble. This one I won a while ago. So let's go through it. I played the Indian. And see, the opening I pretty much knew. First 20 moves. I'm not going to really do anything. See, it's pretty standard. It just reaction. It's action to reaction. Whatever white does, black responds. Unless I get the advantage. 13 moves. 14. Okay, so now it's starting to get a little bit complicated, to be fair. Let's go back a couple of moves. Okay, one more. Okay, so now it's... To be fair, it's not So basic. We're coming out of the opening and coming into the middle game. The first piece, I got a first blood. The first piece is off the board, and black's got a threat. And the threat is the bishop in exchange for the knight and bishop. He pulls back, pardon me. I bring out my other knight. Having two knights supporting each other is sometimes good, but they can also get in the way of each other. He doesn't like my bishop there anymore. It's not really doing anything. He could have done a better move. I mean, his knight is supported by his queen and knight as well, like mine is. And he, by doing this, he's kind of forcing the exchange. So my bishop was happy to stay there as long as I wanted it. So doing that pawn move just forced it to happen one move quicker. And by taking back with the queen, allows me the opportunity for the fork with the knight on the bishop. Could you see that? So without knowing the, like if you had to think for 20 moves, would you be able to see those last 4 move combinations from this point? Like, could you answer in your mind, if white did this, black would do that, white would do this, black would do that to counter that move? Could you do that from here? And if you are constantly having to think, I know I'm repeating myself because it needs to be repeated more than once for people to understand it. It's a complicated part of the chess to understand. You've got to, I mean, you're like in a marathon runner. You got to pace yourself so by the end of the game, you have the mental strength to finish it. And you've got to be able to see 12, at least 6 moves ahead from any point or position in the game from all possible move combinations. Like if white didn't push that pawn up to attack my bishop and did something else like bishop to c4, what then? Perhaps knight takes pawn on e3. No, because pawn on f2 will take knight back, and I lose a knight for a pawn. If the bishop came out to c4, does bishop still take the knight? That's a possibility. If I take the knight, he could have taken my knight back. I would have had to respond it by knight takes bishop or queen takes bishop, and then he would have taken my bishop back with his queen or knight. If he took it with the queen, I would have done something else. If he took it back with a knight, I would have put my other knight into the middle of the board, attacking his second knight. If he took back with the queen, I would put the knight in the middle to attack his queen and fold the bishop. If I wanted to, he could put the rook to c1. Good open file. It's certainly a good thing to do. He could have done rook to e1. If he did rook to e1 in the center, I could have done rook to c8. I got all these possibilities. I've got to keep every single move in my mind so nothing can surprise you. So he does this, falls. He moves the queen, and I take the bishop. And I'm now forking the bishop and rook again. Okay, so what's white's response? Without looking at the moves, yes, pawn takes knight. Which pawn? h3? I mean h2 pawn takes, or the f pawn takes? Perhaps he just moves the bishop. If he moves the bishop, he loses a rook. Can't do that. So he has to castle. Can he get me in check? No, he can't. Can he do anything else to put a threat? Can he attack my queen? No. What happens if he puts his knight into e5? Is there any plan? He puts his knight to e5. Knight takes rook. King takes knight. Then what? Without moving the pieces, you got to be able to move them in your mind. Pawn takes. And taking advantage of what's left behind when he's taken with that pawn. Bang. Knight takes e3. I mean, again, attacking the rook, and the rook's won. It's trapped. Did you see that coming? Could you see that? If he took with the h-pawn, that could have been avoided. You gotta look ahead. Rook comes up, and bang! Fork, queen, and rook. You thought I meant that rook was lost, didn't you? When I said knight to e3, the rook's lost, you assume I meant rook f1. Did you see the fork on the other side? It was a choice for white of which rook he wanted to lose. He decided the queen side rook. And I exchange a rook for a knight, which is a difference of 2 pawns. So let's see. He has a rook, which is a knight and a bishop for my bishop, and 2 rooks and a queen. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 10, 11, 12, 13. Black's winning, point-wise. Position-wise, is white winning? Does white have a better position? Not really. He's got an isolated pawn. My pawns are nice together. His queen's stuck in the corner while mine's in the center, strong and dominant. Also note, my queen hasn't moved the entire game and it's remained entirely strong. I have the possible threat of queen to b6. So if he moves the pawn, the rook's pinned against his king. I'm taking advantage of that file that's going to come open. Queen's coming back into the middle, which is a good move. First move, queen move is 18 moves later. Now he puts his knight into the center of the board, which is not a bad idea. And now I'm trying to take advantage of the pin and win the knight too. He takes pawn back and didn't see the attack. Rook's pinned, and I've got an attack on the knight. He's coming this way to fork my queen and rook. He's trying to do to me what I did to him, only it backfires. See the potential flaw? There's a rook attack on his queen. And then I got my bishop attack. He did not want to exchange. And I gave the rook back. Perhaps that was a mistake. Perhaps I should have taken back with a king, but I decided with the rook. And the pawns come in. Rook comes back into the middle. All this entire time, his rook's out of the game. It can't move. Queen comes back. Bishop for an easy check. Bishop takes bishop. Another piece off the board. Since I have more pawns on the board, I wanted to swap pieces. Normally that's how you go. If you have more pawns, swap the pieces off. If you have more pieces, swap the pawns off. Because, as you can see, I've got a bigger advantage now. King takes bishop. Bringing the rook up into the middle of the board. I was trying to pin his king against the queen. My rule of thumb, never leave a king in front of your queen for more than 2 moves. He evaded, which is good. Queen coming up, check. What next? Perhaps the rook to e5 check, maybe? Good. Now what? What is there available? Queen check. I have a queen check here. Queen to e2, but rook would have taken back. I have a queen check here on a4. Could I push a pawn up? What happens if I don't check? That's right. Queen c8 checkmate in 2 moves. Queen c. If I do anything else but check him, or if I don't open up move the pawns, he can come back and checkmate me in 2 moves. So I have to give a check. Now his rook's pinned again. Another check. And now I move the pawn so he cannot give checkmate. But he still gets the check. He's won a pawn. But he doesn't take. He goes right back to where he was before. And so do I. Don't know why he did that, but it's good that he got off that well. Now I got the attack on the pawn coming. Can't take back because it's pinned. Pawn takes. Oh, goes up maybe. What happens if pawn takes? Pawn takes pawn. Pawn can take back. If pawn takes back, queen comes there check. He has to move the queen in the way. So that wouldn't work for black. Another pawn coming up to stop him taking that one. He moves this forward. Can you see the threat? What's black's threat? Let's see. King has only one square left that he can move to. Should start to smell blood. That's right. Queen there, check. Queen has to come in the way. Queen takes queen, checkmate. And he misses it. And looks like I was wrong. Oh well. Again, live broadcast for you. Why didn't I... Oh, because there's no point taking it. Yeah, he can still move. So let's see how I get him. Oh yeah, now I got the threat checkmate up here. Another check. Forza got a mini fork, but my queen rook's attacked. And he's got a threat of discovered check. And that's how I finish him. Nice. Want to see that? You have to be able to see the mate, and you have to be able to move ahead. Thankfully I did, and I wasn't playing this game tonight. Check. King across. Going up there. He can't really do anything, and I'm threatening checkmate back there. He blocks the checkmate. Check there. He moves back. Bam. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. So, like I said, to finish up this video, it's only going to be a short training session. You've got to know your opening off by heart. Whatever opening you want to play, sit down, stick to your opening, have a plan. You need a plan. Know the opening, play the opening, and then start to think about the middle game and then the end game. So you have enough gas to get you all the way to the end of the game without being too exhausted. Because if you start getting tired, that's when you make the mistake. And it's not the first mistake that loses the game, it's the second and third mistake. If you make a blunder, you'll try to collect yourself, you try to make up for what you made, you know, did the mistake on, and that's where the games are lost. So you got to stay fresh and awake as long as possible. Okay, I'm gonna try get back into a regular training session again. I am going through a lot of family issues at the moment, so I do apologize for my absence, and I will try get back to you as soon as possible. Alright, thank you. Have a good day.